Alright, what is up guys? Barry back in another video, and in today's video, I'll be talking about my next life as Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, anime getting its second season in 2021. Now, if you know me, I pretty much already made a video about this, but I really like this anime. I think it introduces a different perspective in two different genres, and it's kind of smashing in both of them. So the current television anime of My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, light novel debuted its 12th and final episode on Sunday, and the episode ended with the announcement of the second season, coming in 2021. Now, I was pretty stoked to hear about this. I was really surprised because, like I told you in maybe 2-3 other videos, I link right here on the side or whatever I'm gonna put them, that this rarely happens. And if this does happen to where the anime is getting a second season and being announced the final day or the final episode of the airing of the video, whatever like that, that basically means it's doing very well. I particularly remember talking about this actual thing in this video where I tell you, if this happens, that means they are really killing it in the numbers. And usually when you get down to that final episode in that period, the anime company would just be telling you, oh, okay, great job, good working with you, and then that'll be it. There'll be no other talkings about anything in the future. You know, they just cut all ties because like Japanese businesses are very formal and they don't like to take risks, is what I'm trying to say basically. And with this anime, I was really interested because I was like, hey, if you go look on all these different review sites and stuff like that, it's getting a pretty okay rating. It's not getting this great rating. It's not being called some kind of masterpiece. It's not being even really mentioned as a great anime. It's being recommended as a good anime, being talked about here and there in the genre as a great anime, but you know what I'm trying to say? It's not getting the attention that other animes that just have this kind of announcement of a season 2 usually get. It makes you really look at it and just question, how well did they do? And in this video, we're actually going to cover and talk about that just a little bit. This really could be another video all to itself, but I'm really excited with this anime, so I'll share this in this video. And I'll say it just again, this could be a video all to itself, and I think I will make it a video all to itself, this next kind of topic. So, how did My Next Life as a Villainess basically do? How many copies did it sell? It actually sold quite well for what I was expecting it to sell. It sold 5,493 copies of Blu-rays. Mind you, this is very new data being shown to you right now, but that's a lot of Blu-ray copies. That's definitely warranting a second season for sure. Now, as though I'm saying this right now, so if selling this amount of copies of Blu-ray sales, that puts it in a whole different category than what I assumed it was going to be in, and as it's showing right now, where the viewers put it at. This anime is now ranking up with some of the bigger boys like Shield Hero, Slime Anime, even there with Overlord. But you might be asking, even though I'm putting it now in the category, in the class of those other animes, exactly how good is it in comparison to them? Like I said, this could be another video all to itself, but we're going to talk about those videos right now as well. So, it got 5,493 copies sold. That's really good for the 2020 spring sales. That's actually very high in comparison, but let me just keep in mind this. The 2020 spring sales are really weak. Like, they are really weak. If I put this anime in the other classes of, say, the Overlords, of, say, Slime Anime, Shield Hero, it would have gotten trounced. And I'm being very respectful because I like this project, but I'm having to be respectful for the sake of mentioning these other animes, because, you know, there are levels to this. There are levels to these animes. There are levels, okay? So, in comparison to, say, like Slime Anime, who had the most difficult one out of any of the other animes I mentioned up here. Slime Anime had a more difficult bracket of dealing and getting sales, and they still sold more than Otome Game. They sold 6,498 copies. In 2018, the fall issue, that means they're competing with, say, Bunny Girl Senpai, like 8,366 copies. SSSS Gridman, 10,270 copies. Sword Art Online, which is a whole different category, basically the highest isekai anime out there, who sold 13,182 copies. And I'll lastly mention this because this is crazy. The biggest one of that year wasn't even Sword Art Online. No, it was Zombieland Saga, the freaking sleeper pick out of nowhere that sold 23,178 copies. That's actually insane. That's actually insane. If Slime Anime was all by itself, it definitely would have racked up the same amount of copies as, say, like Gridman. But then mentioning like Zombieland Saga is crazy. That's a crazy number. right? That is a crazy number. But yeah, mentioning just the isekai anime, Sword Art and Slime, they still beat this anime pretty soundly. I'm only mentioning that because these are the animes it's gonna have to be competing against in the future, probably in the same split or the same year. So we're all keeping that in mind for sales right now. And then, like, I don't even want to mention Shield Hero. Shield Hero definitely got beat in this category. Oh god, I'm being respectful because I like the anime. I like the anime, but it got beat. Like, it lost. In comparison, Shield Hero, I will say 2019 was a pretty difficult year, but still overall, Shield Hero, they slacking this one. They got. In my other video, I mentioned Shield Hero's numbers, and I was being very respectful, and I was really trying to add up to make it look a little bit bigger than what it is, but man, it's crazy. The number, I don't even want to mention it. It's definitely worthy enough to get another season, but in comparison to the other isekais in the same genre that are going to be running with it probably in the next split or two, yeah, it's going to get beat. But then lastly, I wanted to mention Overlord, because Overlord was like really coming out in a period where they kind of define isekais, not with Sword Art Online, but they were right there with them. And they still are. Overlord in the last split sold 7,314. And they did come out in the hardest period, being 2018. So with them just sleeping by and really not being mentioned all too much, they have a really dedicated fan base. It really just does show the numbers of how well they are doing. So I'm very happy with seeing that My Next Life as a Villainess is getting the second season, as well as seeing that they do have a really good fan base that will be continuing to buy their, the Blu-rays. I will say this for a marketing tip, even though they don't need me, just saying this right now, do not put yourself in the same split with Slime Anime, Overlord, or really Sword Art Online. Those animes will just beat you right now in terms of sales and just take away some of those sales you could be getting. If you can avoid it, maybe just go with the next year, but that's just my 2 cents on the sales. But yeah, you guys tell me what you think down in the comment section about the video. What anime in particular do you watch, or which one have you already purchased or bought? I'm really interested to see what you guys actually watch in your free time. Me personally, it's actually Overlord, then it's Shield Hero, and then it's Slime. In terms of how much I've watched of them, Sword Art is probably just like a little to the side for me. I'll watch it here and there, but that's just me. But with this Villainous one, I don't know exactly where to put it in my best anime or best isekai animes list. I'll definitely try and make one of those videos in the future. After seeing these numbers, I definitely want to go and make that video now. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section if you would like to see that video. BarryAnime out. Peace.